In today's lesson, we'll be using Onshape to create our keychain. Start by opening up Onshape. You're going to go up to the top left corner and we're going to create a document. We're going to give it a name. We're going to name it Keychain Mr. Juby, and we can create that document. So as you can see, it opened up Onshape's Part Studio. We're going to start by creating a two-dimensional shape. We're going to extrude that, meaning we're going to turn it into a three-dimensional object. We're going to put a hole, and then we're going to add some text to the top of the keychain. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a sketch, and we're going to use the top plane. So to make this easier to see, I'm going to come up to the top right, and I'm going to hit the top of the view cube. That's going to give me only the top view. So as you can see, it's turning orange. So it says select a sketch plane, and we're going to sketch on the top plane. So I'm going to select the top. Now you'll notice the tools have changed, and we're going to go start with a rectangle. So we're going to select our corner rectangle. Starting in the center origin, we're going to select and drag up to the top right. Doesn't matter, doesn't have to be quite perfect yet because we're going to add dimensions in a second. So once you get it roughly close to the dimensions, you're going to click, and we can either come up to the top and hit the dimensioning tool, or select D on the keyboard and we can dimension our rectangle. We're going to start on the left hand side, selecting the left, dragging out, clicking, and giving it a dimension of 2 inches. Selecting the bottom one now, we're going to drag out, select again, and add a dimension of 1 inch. As you can see, the rectangles turn black all the way around. That tells me that it cannot be misconstrued. It means that all the information that it needs has been given. All the dimensions are there, and we have a starting point for this object. I'm going to come up to the green check mark, and we can finish the sketch. After we have our two-dimensional shape, I can right-click in the empty space, and we can go to isometric, and we can see what we've done. So now that we have our shape starting to form, we now want to make it three-dimensional. So I'm going to select our newly formed rectangle and come up to our toolbar, and we're going to find extrude. Extrude is going to make this object three-dimensional. Select the extrude tool, and you'll notice that it's already extrude to a depth of 1 inch. So we're going to change this to our thickness of our dog tag, which is 0.125, 1/8 of an inch. And there we have it. We have a newly found three-dimensional object. So we can hit the check mark. Now, next thing we want to do is add a hole right in the top. So I'm going to go back to our top view. I'm scrolling in and out with the mouse to make it easier to see. Now we're going to add a hole on center in the x-axis and down 1/4 inch from the top, a 1/4 inch hole. So we're going to come up to the toolbar and find the hole feature. We're going to be creating just a simple hole right in the top. First thing we need to do is give it a location where the hole should be. So we're going to use this called a mate connector. The mate connector allows us to add coordinates to shift over the location of the hole. So I'm going to select the mate connector button, and we can select the top left-hand corner. And notice this ring will appear. That tells me that I'm selecting that left-hand corner. And you'll notice that there has been a hole that appeared, and we'll adjust that very shortly. So we're going to select this coordinate button, which will allow us to adjust the coordinates in X, Y, or Z. If I zoom out a little bit, you'll notice there's this green line on the top and a red line on the side. That corresponds to the axis that we're looking at. So Y would be in this case, our vertical axis, and the X would be our horizontal axis. So we want to move along the X-axis halfway. So we're going to move 0.5. And we want to move along the the Y-axis, we want to move down 0.25. Oops, gave me an error. Well, that's because I want to move in the down. So I will have to change that to a negative 0.25. And there we go. Our whole location is now set. We can close this coordinate box and we're going to go through some of these settings. It's a normal drilled hole. We're not doing a tapped hole or anything special, so we're just going to select drilled hole. The diameter of the hole, we're going to change that to 1/4 of an inch. And a depth of 0.125, which is the thickness of our keychain. All set, we can hit the check mark. And there we have it. We have a hole going through our keychain. So grabbing with the right mouse button, I can grab a hold of the piece and rotate it, and we can see we have the finished hole. One last thing we're going to do in this video is add 4 chamfers to the outside of the keychain. It's going to soften up the radiuses, so the corners are going to be a nice rounded corner. So to do that, I'm going to rotate my workpiece. I'm going to come up to the top, and we're going to find the chamfer tool. The chamfer is going to ask us entities to chamfer, and we're going to go around carefully selecting the 4 corners. This is going to give us a 45-degree corner on each one. So you can see that's quite large. So I'm going to take this number down, the distance, to maybe 0.1. And that looks pretty nice. So I can hit the check mark. There you have it. Thanks for watching, and follow for part 2.